Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel y'all. Welcome to my space, welcome to my environment, welcome to this space. I hope you guys are doing freaking fabulous, and if you're new, welcome to this channel. Virtual hug, sending you all the love. This is a space of evolution, this is a space of growth, this is a space of love, this is a space of support, and this is a space of becoming the best versions of ourselves, period. Like, honey, what's the point about life if it ain't about growing and glowing? And sometimes growing and glowing isn't material, sometimes it's just mental, it's just emotional, it's just spiritual. So welcome to this channel y'all, and in this video we're going to talk about a very interesting story. Let's talk about alcoholism, addictive pattern behavior with alcohol. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of context as usual, and I just want to say that this video is heavily sponsored by celibacy. I can't believe I said that, but for real, it's heavily sponsored by celibacy. I could have not come to this realization if it wasn't for my celibacy journey, especially in the first and second year. And let's just jump into this topic. So I want to first off start by saying that when I was living in Aruba and just being an island girl, and especially from the island that I'm from, there is like a culture that is very celebrated, that is alcoholism. Now, I wouldn't say that it's because of them I became an alcoholic, but I just want to use this information in the sense of how it affected the environment that I grew up in. So the environment that I grew up in is like alcohol is very much celebrated. There is this slang in Aruba where they say, you know, Arubiano non te gran bebedo, and we be drinking every weekend, and we be celebrating every weekend. We, like, you know, it is how it is. So, and because of this, as a young little girl, you know, I see this, and of course it's going to influence and affect the relationship that I have with alcohol. And it was like something, it became something like almost very normal for me. Like, for me it was like, oh, and later on just the culture. And when I turned 18 and I started going out, you know, I understood that it was a real thing. Like, it was a real thing in the sense that we had multiple slangs, people would drink their asses off, it's celebrated. Now, this didn't made me an alcoholic, but it affected my relationship with alcohol, how I viewed alcohol, and just how I consumed and used alcohol. So of course, when I was 18, around 18, 19, because I was already drinking at the age of like 16, but I wasn't like drinking to get drunk. I was just maybe having one drink, and it wasn't like even that much. I think even when I was like around 7 or 8, I think the only time I'm not gonna even say this, forget about it. Like, forget about it, moving on. So during the carnival season, we would drink a lot. We have even more reason to drink because it'd be sunny, you know, it's carnival, it's hot, you want to have a drink to, you know, keep the energy, and you're having a more good time. So around this time I started drinking with my friends, going out, living life, nothing heavy, just normal teenage stuff, literally. It started to become really heavy when I started dating. When I started dating, it really became like heavy, because I didn't express my emotions. You know, if you don't know, in my previous videos I have mentioned that, you know, I wasn't very expressive during this era. You know, it was the era where I was just having fun. I was single, I was in my puteria era, girl. Like, I was living, period. I was living. And you know, I didn't care. I had multiple boyfriends, I had multiple friends, I was living my best life, honey. And everything was going also good in my life, in the sense that I had a very good career, I had a very good relationship with my family, things were going well for us, and life was just really good. So I started drinking even more during this time because I was dating a lot of guys and I didn't want to express my emotions. So I would like suppress my emotions. And in order for me to escape of my emotions or to feel my emotions, one thing that helped was alcohol. Drinking them away. Not to drink to forget about them, but to drink not to think about them. Because I didn't want to express or feel my emotions. So that's also part of the celibacy journey in the sense. So if you check out that video, in the video I go more in detail about that. And later on, I didn't view alcohol as like I was an alcoholic. I just viewed it as like every weekend I had something to celebrate. Maybe that was just an excuse, but it was the truth in the sense that everything was going well in my life. I had a good career, my family was doing great, I was just accomplishing so many great things. So for me, it was every weekend was a celebration, and I would drink like from Wednesday until Sunday. And maybe I wouldn't get drunk, but I would have a drink every day. Like I would have maybe 2 or 3 drink. Some days I would drink enough to get like tipsy or just to get a little bit happy. And as soon as I feel like, oh, like I'm feeling good, I'm lit, okay, then I wouldn't drink anymore. So it became that pattern. So of course I didn't view it as something bad. I just view it as something to be celebrated because life's good. Now, hun, on my last year being on the island before I moved to Europe, girl, I was drinking even more, in the sense that I was trying to get tipsy or a little bit drunk every weekend, girl. But don't get it twisted, I was still responsible. So that's why I didn't view it as something bad, because honey, I could be drinking Saturday, going all out, but Sunday 11 a.m. I will be at work, bitch. Even on Saturdays I would have weekends where I would go to parties until 6 in the morning, show up at work at 8 like it was nothing. And I could have been a little bit, but like it was so embarrassing, because I even had one time where my boss, like the director of the store, she was like, yo creo que ayer le diste mucha caña. And I was so embarrassed, but in my head I was like, but I'm here, I'm at work, I showed up, I didn't call in sick. So I thought like, I'm not doing something bad, because life is, everything is in order, I still show up for myself, whatever. But until I moved to Europe and I started my celibacy journey, girl, the first year, if you go to my previous videos you would know, but just for context in this video, in the first year I struggled being celibate, because I was used to always having boyfriends, I was used to always having friends, I was used to always having lovers, entertainment, like something, like even if I wasn't active physically, just having men to talk with or to flirt with, like some type of relationship. So because during my celibacy I decided to abstain from this, I needed something to help me escape that. And what did that? Alcohol. So it was my first year here, and I was just studying, everything was going well to school, but I was still drinking every day. Maybe not to get drunk, but I would have like a glass of wine every day, like a miniature glass of wine on the weekends. And then Monday, show up to school, be alright. The whole week I wouldn't drink whatsoever, but in the weekends I was having like my good stuff. And some days when there were like really hard days, I would like get drunk, but that was also mainly because that is when I started noticing that not yet, I haven't noticing this yet, but later on I noticed this. But this is when I was just like, still wasn't looking at it as something bad, because as I mentioned, I was going to school, I was showing up, everything was alright, but I was still drinking every day. So it really, the true realization happened for me on my second year of celibacy, when I started also on the second year of celibacy, I was like, okay, I have to abstain a little bit because I'm drinking every weekend, and I don't have to be drinking every weekend. Like, this is not good. So I would take breaks, like I would take a week break. So this weekend I wouldn't drink, but the next weekend I would, because I will be celebrating the previous week that I didn't drink. So I was still drinking, but I started practicing a little bit of not like drinking every fucking weekend, you know. So around Halloween, I really had a big, like, a month break. This was my first time having a month break, and during Halloween I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna celebrate that day because I have 1 month with no alcohol, and I deserve to fucking celebrate. Girl, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, because when I had this, like, I had this thing inside me, like this addictive behavior wanted to overconsume. Like, I really wanted to get, like, drunk, but not like drunk bad. I wanted to get this, like really excited and happy and just be drunk and have a good time, you know. Bitch, I drank a whole bottle of vodka and I passed out. I don't know what the fuck made me think that I could drink that whole bottle of vodka and be okay. But because I also thought that my tolerance was very high, because back then in Aruba, when I used to drink, I didn't mention this before, but because of my parents having, not my parents, but you know, my grandparents having addictive behavior, they have a very high tolerance for alcohol. So I also have a very high tolerance for alcohol. In order for me to get drunk, I have to drink a lot, and that also is what caused me to drink a lot when I was living in Aruba, because I couldn't get drunk with 2 drinks. Like, honey, I needed more than that. So I don't know why I thought that I can still do this after a couple years of trying to stop drinking. Of course, my tolerance went down, but I don't know what in my head thought that I could. Girl, I blacked out, and for that whole week I was sick. I was physically sick. Like, I was so sick. I never got so sick in my life. It was crazy for me, because when I was living in Aruba, I had one night when I drank vodka, whiskey, beer. I mixed those 3, and I also had like shot, like a very sweet shot. I forgot its name. Is something devil, it's the name. I had those 4 drinks mixed that night, and the next day I woke up hangover but good. So I didn't understand why my body got so sick after the blackout during Halloween weekend. And that is when I really had a moment of realization of like, oh shit, what the fuck, I gotta stop drinking. Like, what am I doing? And during that is when I started journaling on alcoholism. And I started journaling because I was like, another thing that I didn't mention is during my practices of being abstinent, it was a struggle. So what I did is I was trying to trick my mind to think that it doesn't like alcohol. Like, I would say stuff to myself, my body doesn't like alcohol, I don't need alcohol to have a good time, I don't need alcohol to feel good, I don't need alcohol to escape. So during that week of that I was trying to practice to abstinent from alcohol, I would say stuff like that. And because I did that for a year, on the second year of my celibacy, when I thought that I could go all out on Halloween night, that's exactly what my body did. That's why the whole week I got sick, because my body was literally rejecting the alcohol. Like, I don't know, guys, I hated that I got myself so drunk. Like, it was so bad. And throughout that whole period I couldn't drink, and it was so bad that even that year on Christmas, no, not Christmas, New Year's Eve, I wanted to have a glass of champagne, you know, to celebrate the new year, whatever. Bitch, I ended up throwing the whole bottle away. I couldn't even take to take a sip because just the smell disgusted me. And that is when the true journey of journaling with alcohol started. And on my 3rd year of celibacy, which is this year, is when I really practiced abstinence from alcohol. Like since December I stopped drinking until until my birthday, and then graduation. But I didn't even drink, I just had one drink. I couldn't even finish the drink. But I want to share this story because throughout that journaling of, I started questioning, like, why do I feel so dependent on alcohol? Why do I have this relationship with alcohol? Those questions really helped me to get to the core that right now I can understand and see how my environment affected my relationship with alcohol, even my behaviors, or the reason why I was drinking, as I mentioned back then, to escape my emotions, stuff like that. So throughout that experience that happened on Halloween and starting journaling on the alcoholic topic is when I really realized, oh wow, I really had an addictive alcohol behavior. I just didn't realize it because I was, in my head, it was so normalized, and it's so normalized in our culture, even like, of course, in Aruba, because that's where I grew up and my influence, but just in general there is like a celebration of alcoholism. And because it's something that is so normalized within our society, it's really hard for us to realize these patterns or realize what type of relationship we have with alcohol, or why are we drinking, what is the intention when we consume. Because if you consume just to have a good time and to you know, just for celebration of cheers, okay, it's fine. But if you consume with this, like for example as me, for this to escape, or like, yeah, to escape, or any other thing like that you're trying to run for or hide from, then it's not with the right intention. Then it's just not with the right intention. And what's happening is because you're going to get used to this, like this idea of drinking to escape, or drinking to create this reality. Because I even had this type of like journaling, I could have realized this in Aruba. I had this idea of like, oh, my excuse was, I'm celebrating that life is good, I'm celebrating I'm successful. Every time it was a celebration, but behind that celebration, it wasn't because of celebrating, that was the excuse. The true reason behind that celebration was to escape my emotions, escape how I truly feel. The celebration thing was just an excuse for me to justify why I'm drinking, you know. So that's how, through that journaling and through going deep, I could have realized this and see this and understand, like, oh wow, oh shit, I was really down bad, bitch. So it's also thanks due to celibacy that I could have realized this, because if it wasn't for me being abstinent from having a relationship with men, because even that affected it, because when I was having multiple relationships back then, I was drinking even more. So that is like my story, guys, of my relationship with alcohol, and how I could have realized these addictive patterns and behaviors that I did, and just my reasoning of like drinking so much and all these things, and realizing what affected me, my view with alcohol, my relationship with alcohol, and all these other things. So I'm not saying that alcohol is completely bad, it's terrible. It's just you have to be aware of why you're consuming it, or you know, the reason why you're doing it, because it's one of those things that you can easily become addicted to. And you know, when alcohol isn't enough, then you take on the next step, and then the next step, and then, you know, because at the end it's not even about alcohol, it's about the addictive pattern behavior. It's about that, because alcohol is just an example. The same addictive pattern behavior can go through like for example weed, or like other hard drugs. Another thing is like codependency. codependency is a way of addictive pattern behavior, because you're constantly dependent on having people to like to validate you in some way or sense. Like, you know, sometimes even emotions, certain emotions or certain feelings can be addictive. So that is how, like, that's how I could have realized this, because it's not about, as I say, it's not about alcohol, it's about the addictive behavior. And the addictive behaviors usually come with something behind, deep down, that you don't want to, that maybe you don't want to acknowledge or even, you know, realize. Like, it be like that. So that's why I wanted to share this. So yeah guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned something new from this video. I hope that you know, it was just really helpful, because it was really helpful to me to go through this journey and go through this realization, and to realize that I had this addictive alcoholic pattern behavior, and it even represents itself in sex. If you saw my video of sexual addiction, you will completely understand like where I'm coming from, because even having that sexual addiction wasn't like I was physically addicted to sex, but I was just I had this addictive behavior towards sexual relationship. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have anything you want to let me know, any comments, question or whatsoever, just let me know. If you want me to delve a little deep on this topic or make some video around anything that I mentioned on the in this video, let me know. I will link all the other videos below so you can check them out and have a little bit more of context. But I just really hope that this video will help you guys, and I don't know, you know, it's all like this really helped me, so I'm putting it out there with the intention to help you guys too in any way or form. So yeah guys, love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video.